Hello everybody, welcome back to SatisFACTORY. My name is Commodore Katz, and I've made some changes from the last episode. I promised you guys I would clean everything up, and clean everything up I did. I played around with some handy dandy conveyor lifts and made the back of my factory look cleaner. This is the bottom floor y'all are familiar with and love. My main source of iron plates, completely walled in for the most part, and I got a staircase. If you'll ignore that little clipping there, it'll be fine. Hopefully it's not hurting anybody's feelings too terribly badly. And welcome to the iron pole production. Or rod, rather. I took it upon myself to widen it out. So now I'm able to actually use everything I produce. The left side over here will be feeding directly upwards into the reinforced plates to be turned into screws, and the right side is being fed downward towards the storage area because, who doesn't need a full storage container full of iron rods? Currently, the left side feeding the reinforced iron plates is turned off because I don't really need it right now. I don't have constructors yet, and I don't think I'll get it until I build the space elevator, which I have not yet done. And I've set up the top floor to get ready for the reinforced iron plate construction. These will be producing screws, and of course everything will be grossly inefficient. However, I'm not really concerned with inefficiency right now, seeing as my belts can only really carry 60 items per minute. It's going to be pretty hard to maintain peak efficiency without having some weird spaghetti here and there, and as much as I love this will probably be temporary, but not really. I also installed this trendy little lookout tower. It was impressive when it was on the roof, but now it is not. Now it mainly just serves as decoration. So down here I have the iron plates feeding out from the bottom to go up and to be made into reinforced iron plates. And the finished product will probably spit out here next to the tower and come down and feed directly into that storage container, which will be used for reinforced iron plates. I've changed a couple of things in this building to make it look slightly better, but of course nothing is perfect. And if we'll take a quick little trip around to the back side here, we'll see that of course it doesn't look like the most aesthetically pleasing building in the world. However, it does look better than any of my other previous creations. Now over here I have thrown together some really quick and efficient copper wire and cable production. Mostly everything is 1-to-1. I have 2 constructors per each furnace producing iron wire over here. I mean, not iron wire, copper wire. Iron wire isn't until later. And I have copper wire being made here from this one singular smelter being turned into wire and directly into cable. Of course, I do know that it's inefficient because this consumes 30 wire per minute and these produce 45. However, I really can't be bothered to make this 100% efficient because most of this is temporary until I can get all of the alternate recipes, and then hopefully at the end of the series I'll produce one super giga factory that is capable of producing absolutely ludicrous amounts of items. So I'm fairly certain that's all the changes I've made. It didn't take too terribly long. Of course, I have the copper wire rather being stored here at the bottom and the cable stored up top. Maybe it was smarter to switch those around because I'll be reaching in for cables more than wires. Those of you with a keen eye might notice that my entire factory is shut off, and it appears as though I haven't had any biofuel recently, at least not in great numbers, but that problem will be solved with the help of a handy dandy chainsaw. Now this is the loudest I've ever been on recording. I wonder, can I chop these down? Wow. Limestone, silica. I didn't know these produced that, but at least I can get them out of the way. I did go ahead, the pod just came back earlier, and it brought back, well, I sent it off and gained the ability to deforest everything. I'm going to store the silica for later. I know it'll be handy. One thing I do remember, I haven't had the MAM busy for a while. So let me shove something in the MAM, the research thing.
Amanita lardum, or bacon agaric, can be added to the object scanner catalog after unlocking the new blueprint in Hub Tier 1.
Alright, let's go ahead and scan these mushrooms. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. And let's throw in the remainder of the mushrooms. I don't really need those right now. And of course I have to do some quick handcrafting before we leave. In this episode I've already touched on what I've covered, and we're just going to go on a great biofuel crusade. And if I have some time at the end of the episode, I'm going to make a little sorting facility, if you will, for all my leaves and wood to be turned directly into biofuel, and a cleaner looking pollution area. But of course, first things first, when it comes to getting more biofuel, we have to go out and actually get it. So I was able to expand my inventory pretty organically by way of, just following goals and stuff. And I think first thing first is me going to be getting these disgusting trees out of my base. These trees are nasty. They drop their leaves wherever they want it. They spew everything with this sticky sap. I think it's just best if we get rid of them. Ooh, bacon. And isn't it beautiful? I'm going to leave this in as a grim reminder. And now my eyes can see all of the wood in the distance, just right for the picking. You gotta spend biofuel to make biofuel. And so, there's probably some wildlife around here that doesn't really take too kindly to me deforesting everything. I'll have to get over it. More limestone, which is handy. I don't really see myself expanding my need for limestone immediately, however. I will later. Ooh. Coral. I don't appear to be in any immediate danger. If I am, I'll have to break out my pro gamer strats. Side strafing and jumping usually gets it for me. And hopefully I won't have to do this too often, especially when I get my sorting facility up and running. My sorting facility is going to be thusly. I'm just going to have 2 containers at the bottom, and it's going to lead up into an area that will produce it will produce biomass through and through, and that be turned into biofuel. However, there are 2 different kinds of fuel you can turn into biomass, which I'm sure you all know. You can either turn leaves or wood into biomass, and I'm fairly certain that the game does differentiate between the 2, so I'll just have to take it upon myself to make 2 different facilities, but that's okay. I'll just make one building with 2 separate floors, send wood to the bottom maybe, and send leaves to the top, because that's the way nature does it. Why should I be any different? It's not like I'm opposing nature or anything. Now I could just smash the E button, or I could just use the chainsaw. However, seeing that as I'm out here for more biofuel, I might want to go the more economically viable approach. And what does the inventory space look like? Ooh, I've got plenty of space. My collection senses are telling me to get that Mercer sphere up there. I see no reason not to. Ooh, game's loading stuff in. Let's go on a little Mercer sphere hunt. It doesn't really appear to be guarded from the surface. Some quick little platforming action. Hello.
I strongly advise you to harvest this specimen.
Wait, you're not Ada? Why would someone that's not Ada be telling me to pick up this Mercer sphere, huh? Well, it's probably not going to possess me. Whew. Those things freak me out, but I'm pretty certain that's the intended purpose. Really don't care much for those anyways. They don't really do anything right now. Hell, in the name it says work in progress right next to it, so we'll figure out what they're useful for eventually. Save the nature for the nature reserve, boys. Oop. Doesn't this look a lot better? You can actually see things now. Like, look. Nuts. And the curious case of the floating bacon. I really want that bacon. I do not have a jetpack, so I cannot get that bacon. Sadder words have never been spoken in the English language. And I see a slimy boy up there. There's one thing I love, that's slimy boys. Give me some power crystals. I mean, I don't have the capacity to make power crystals yet, but... Oh, is this one of those jetpack only places too? Or can I cheese it? I'll save it for when I have jump pads or jetpacks. Now, I have a sort of hearty supply of wood. But you know, if there's one thing you always need more wood. Pretty. But sadly though, it seems as though this little coastal area, this is most of where I'm going to get all of my wood. That bacon is going to be taunting me for the rest of the game, I bet. But I'm feeling fat and happy with my pockets full of wood. And look, there's plenty. Who says this place is hard for wood? Oh, that just got deleted. I expected something grander, but of course, you know, I'm not going to get that. Alright. Home sweet home. I don't think 5 minutes have passed, has it? Oh, it has. Alright, what else can I analyze?
This mycelia can be used to create fabrics. The derived blueprint is now accessible in Hub Tier 1. Additionally,
Interesting.
R&D has requested extra samples to determine the cause of an anomaly.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and throw in my power slug here. Actually, I'm going to throw in my pedals. I need to work on trying to change the color scheme here. You can have any color you want as long as it's orange and gray. So this is why I opted to make a biomass sorting facility. Purely because of this reason. I went on one hunt and I have way more biomass than I can carry. But that is easily remedied. The biofuel is more compact and I'm fairly certain it burns longer as well. So ooh, that was disgusting, pardon me. Anyways, biofuel will be a lot better to burn. I'm pretty sure it's... Actually, at this stage in the game, I think biofuel is the cleanest I'll ever be. You know, you can't get cleaner than burning actual plants. Now, later on when I start burning coal and oil, well, a little thing called global warming that might cause an issue. But, you know, I'm in a desert. How much hotter could it be? Pshaw. Alright, let's shove some biofuel into my early boys. I know I'm not really dealing in fuel stacks, but I'm of the opinion that only Siths deal in absolutes. You're gonna have to apologize, or I'm gonna have to apologize for my stammer here. Wow, I was totally dry. Beautiful. I'm gonna have to expand this eventually, but you know, for the time being, this is fine. And oh yeah, eventually I'm going to take this over here, the copper wire, and feed it up towards the top here. I'm going to stop using screws and start using stitched iron plates. I mean, yeah, stitched reinforced iron plates as opposed to the just flat iron plates. That will be a lot more convenient as it is more efficient. And I could combine it with iron wire and keep this building true to just a pure iron facility, but we'll see. We'll see when we get there. Now, as a token of my gratitude for taking the bounties of this area, I'm going to build a quick little sorting facility. I will be back momentarily, and I'll see you guys shortly. Hey guys, welcome back. Well, I guess you've been here all along if you've watched the entire time lapse, but we are back. I plan on putting leaves here to feed the inner and the wood here to feed the outer. Inner being the first two, outer being the next two constructors to be turned into biomass and then biofuel respectively. Now the problem with making biomass in an efficient manner is that it appears as though you can make a metric ton of biomass without any consequences. Just a few leaves makes several hundred, and it is incredibly, it's incredibly hard to balance at this stage of the game, especially when, your best bet at getting anything transported is 60 per minute, which I would definitely classify that as unfortunate. However, aren't we just fortunate to be here together on this planet? What I'm doing right now is I wouldn't necessarily call it polluting the area with biomass burners, but I'm polluting the area with biomass burners. Or, as I like to call them now, biofuel burners, as they from here on forth would be called. What I presently have right now should definitely suffice. Hopefully. I made that without consideration for the future. And it appears as though I'm all out of concrete. However, you don't need concrete to just plump. And speaking of concrete, I can fix my problems relatively easily. Inventory may be cluttered, I'm aware of that. However, it will not be cluttered for much longer. Alright, let's go ahead and shove our wood in here. Don't take that too out of context. And let's shove our leaves in here. And I'm fairly certain everything is All revved up and ready to go. Hey, oh, let's go. I say that now, but SatisFACTOry, you're playing tricks with my heart. Let's go ahead. Let me go ahead and redeposit these leaves in here. My mouse is acting up. Alright, let's go. Oh, it takes 10 leaves per cycle. That is probably why. And each cycle produces 6 biomass leaves in every 4 seconds. That's unfortunate. However, over there it appears as though our arms are working. So we'll put in our biomass, we'll press the leaves and zap it as it appears to be nuts and bolts. And that will come handy little cakes of biomass. The biomass turn to biofuel. And by way of biofuel, I have a way of organizing it. We're going to deposit the biofuel in these 2 storage containers, which will then converge into this singular storage container. Why the complexity? I don't know. I saw that coming. Let's forget that power outage happened. Is this possible? It is not. And see, this is what happens when you don't keep floors absolutely everywhere and just turn the entire planet into foundation. I'm placing this here not only for the lack of ease of actually no. I did want a central place to put on my biofuel, but that'll be fine. So I did just have a power outage, but that did not stop me from collecting some tasty biofuel. I'm just gonna lap all this up. Come on, where is it? It should be entering right now. Delicious. Finally, some good fucking fuel. Amazing, isn't it? These produce at a rate of 30 per minute. These obviously got backed up for a little while, so 2 per should definitely give me exactly what I need. And what happened? Oh, a few of my power sources died. Well, it looks like we're gonna have one quick hoorah with this wood. We're gonna take a couple stacks of wood, turn that into biofuel, and manually load it one more time. I know it's sad, isn't it? But I will live. It'll be fine. It's not like I'll miss handcrafting biofuel or anything. I totally won't. And oh man, we'll be here for a while. That was probably really quick for you guys, but for me that was nearing an eternity. However, I'm out on the other end with 500 biofuel. And I'm going to expand that over here. And we'll turn this area, I don't know, into a cute botanical garden later on. But for now, all of these things are sort of necessary by way of too lazy to move them. I want to move on to the next big project. And as soon as I can sort out this biofuel stuff. Excuse me. Excuse me. That'll work. Hopefully, in the near future, I won't be reliant on these two biofuel. Excuse me. Oh, okay. That split stack system in this game is kind of funky. Now, I'm not talking funky in a roundabout way. I'm talking funky in a janky way. If it was like roundabout, that would be much better. And of course, I'm going to throw away my limestone. I have near unlimited amount of limestone. So, ka-chunk. And I have a lovely capacity of 140 megawatts. And I'm only consuming 111 round about. And it doesn't look like I'll be consuming too much. Of course, I'll be consuming more as the rest of my constructors turn on, but that's what this area is for. I plan on filling all of these up with biofuel in the near future. All of these will be roaring happily. And we are producing beautiful biofuel. Hopefully this will be enough to float me for a long time. As you can see, I still have 300 leaves and not as much wood as I would like left, but of course I just hand-fed a bunch of biofuel. What more do you want from me? And hopefully we won't see any biofuel crunches in the near future. If there's anything that I dislike more is a big biofuel crunch. It is about as unpleasant as a crunch from SCP-173. Mushroom. Alright, we're going to load up a mushroom into the pod. It doesn't actually launch, it just sort of uploaded it onto my thing. And what other do I have? Oh, I have the ability to unlock the assembler, jump pads, and walkways. So we're going to finish up this episode just by burning through some of these quicker milestones. Like this one, not a big deal. Launch. Did I turn on this yet? It does not appear to be so. Oh, look at this. I can turn on this area now. Oh, I haven't even fed it anything. I promise we're going to finish up this episode really soon. But not before I hook up this to the power grid. It is hooked up, but not in use right now. I will be sure to utilize that. Next episode, I'll get all that hooked up and finish up my little copper area over there. But, in the meantime, I do have the ability. I have been producing these the entire time. I do have the ability to still steam past some of these other milestones. Doink. Doink. Hopefully those are the most complex parts I will need for the next milestone. What is the next milestone anyways? We're going to look at part assembly. Alright. It appears we have everything but the cables, which is exactly what I told you I would procrastinate on doing. Which is... Isn't that just neat? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time-lapse time. Have a problem? Just put it in a time lapse. Bazinga.
Milestone reached. More complex assembly of
Beautiful.
parts can now be automated.
And I think I just did some flower petal research. I'm going to take some... Oh, I was going to do power slug next. Hello, Eva. So you know, I have a cat named Eva. She is currently clawing me and it is painful. Ow. She really wants
R&D
attention.
wishes me to tell you these colored petals are useful for two things: dating and creating color cartridges. Mandatory reminder that you are under 24/7 surveillance. The derived blueprint is now accessible in Hub Tier 2.
Thanks for the reminder that I'm always under surveillance. That makes me feel all safe and warm and cuddly. So I can't get the cuddle gun. I can't get the cuddle gun yet. But as soon as I do, you know, you bet I'm going to be coloring up all of these buildings all fancy colors. And by coloring up, I mean I'm just going to change the default colors and that's something a little more tasteful. Perhaps something to suit my logo, like black and red. That doesn't have an authoritarianism vibe. Not at all. Ow. My Eva keeps insistently clawing me. I think every time I've skipped Eva, my cat, is just going to claw me. Just to make up for it. I think they might be related or something. Ow. So, just to finish this episode off, you all may remember this power slug over here. Or was it another power slug elsewhere? No, I think it was this one. I tried to jump up the side, but it led to no fruition. However, this caught my eye earlier. A neat little platforming game. Ah. And of course, you can't have too many slug boys. Slug boys are important for driving this factory. I also think that I know this is a very unplanned and by the seat of my pants series. I think I might just forego the screws altogether. If I have the power, I'm definitely going to go to a crashed pod that I saw earlier. And I'm going to use that crashed pod to just bypass needing screws and just make the stitched plates. Because the stitched plates is a lot easier to mass produce. Especially with my current, 60 items per minute belts. And I'll be able to forego the screws altogether, which will definitely make me feel warm and fuzzy on the inside. But it appears as though that's the end of our time today. I appreciate you guys for tuning in for this episode of Satisfactory. I made some progress beforehand, and I was sure to run it through you, and I'm fairly certain I will do the same next episode. Next episode, you get to look forward to me clearing out a drop pod, if it is possible, finishing up my power station over there, and meeting some goals by way of making an assembler. Those milestones will be easy to reach, of course, with what I have now currently producing. And, God willing, I will see you all next time. Thank you so much. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if this is your taste. Right now, if you decide to become one of my subscribers, one subscription could do a lot for this family, and I'm really happy that you're all here with me today. Thank you guys very much, and I bid you adieu. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.